Buffaloes often defend their kin and save them against enemies, but hoofed animals usually risk themselves only for their comrades who continue to fight until the end. Here, a lioness has brought down a buffalo and started strangling it. The hoofed animal is in shock from the attack, lying on its back, legs up, and almost motionless. The lioness sees that the rest of the herd is unsure whether there's a chance to fight back their kin or if it's already too late. The predator cat bides her time because time is on her side. She strangles the buffalo, and with each passing second, there's less time left for the hoofed animal's salvation. Its strength is waning. The herd is unsure whether they should fight the predatory cat because the lying bull is not moving. Maybe it's already too late. Finally, one of the buffaloes does something unexpected to the lioness. He strikes the downed comrade. It's not an act of aggression, but the last chance to confirm whether he's alive at all or not. It turns out he's alive. The buffalo lying on its back regains consciousness and flips onto its belly, turning right into the lioness's grasp. After this, the herd immediately takes decisive action, steps on the lioness, and attempts to surround her. The cat has no choice but to release her prey. We'll show you today other cases where buffalo surprised their enemies and demonstrated incredible strength combined with intelligence. A large and powerful deer made a significant mistake when trying to showcase its strength against a bison. The bull behaved non-aggressively, and the deer, with its massive antlers, thought it faced an easy opponent. Big, bulky, but cowardly. However, the deer was wrong. The enormous bison was slightly surprised by the unprovoked aggression of the deer, as if it couldn't believe the folly of a significantly less massive hoofed animal. But when the deer directed its antlers toward the bull, the bison immediately reacted to such audacity. It went for the charge, easily repelling the aggressor. The deer is in shock, but stubbornly continues to impose a fight. The bison doesn't care about the deer's persistence. The strengths are too uneven, and the bull gladly demonstrates this. It ignores the deer's strike, unexpectedly jerks its head quickly, steps on, and presses the opponent again. The desire to show off has turned into the most shameful defeat for the deer. The bison forces the deer to panic and run away. Now it won't mistake peacefulness for weakness. This is one of the most dynamic and intense battle scenes between lions and buffaloes caught on camera. Here, a young and aggressive bull runs in front of the herd, clearly expressing the desire to fight and get into trouble. He is strong, fast, with muscular, powerful legs and neck, as well as long, sharp horns. However, the bull has not yet reached its maximum size. The combined efforts of the lioness and the young lion pose a serious threat to him. But the bull doesn't care about the danger. He boldly rushes into battle, maneuvering, breaking through the encirclement, threatening his opponents with sharp horns and scattering them. However, the hunters are clearly more experienced. They pounced on the bull from different sides. It's a real battle of titans. The buffalo weighs about half a ton. The lion is half its size, and the lioness is more than 3 times smaller than the hoofed animal. Nevertheless, all participants in this battle are representatives of the heavyweight category. To compensate for the buffalo's superiority, the predator skillfully attacks simultaneously, employing optimal tactics and using all their mastery. In this battle, both sides showcase their full capabilities. Pay attention to the ease of movements, the speed of strikes, throws, and lunges. It's hard to believe that the hoofed animal is so much more massive than its opponents. Even after the panthers delivered a devastating blow, latching onto the buffalo's body with their claws, the herbivore continues to spin, resist, and refuses to fall. Even with such immense weight, the hoofed animal maneuvers and moves. This is why the predators not only hang on top of him, but also pull in different directions. The lioness has climbed onto the back of the buffalo, to prevent him from gaining speed and reduce his maneuverability. She digs her claws into the buffalo's legs, and her fangs penetrate the base of his spine. With a bit of luck, they might paralyze the hoofed animal. Meanwhile, the lion hangs on the bull's neck. No matter how powerful the muscles are in this part of the hoofed animal's body, they can't withstand such pressure. The buffalo inevitably lowers its head to the ground. The lion tries to tear at its throat with claws, but blocks not the tracheote but the nose and mouth with his jaws, aiming to strangle the opponent using this unique technique. Meanwhile, the predators also have a reserve fighter here. It's an exceptionally large and seasoned lioness, possessing the most significant experience among all pride predators. She doesn't join the fight right away, believing in the success of the younger members. Indeed, the bull is facing some problems. Gradually, even such a giant is losing strength. The lions underestimated the loyalty of buffaloes to their own kind. Perhaps this young bull unwisely strayed from the herd to confront the lions and succumbed to their provocation. Yet he is one of them, and the buffaloes rush to the aid of their reckless but strong and valuable family member. The bulls advance with a wide front, raising a cloud of dust. The experienced lioness sees this impressive scene and begins to retreat. She didn't join the hunt earlier, believing in its success. Now, she understands that trying to finish off such a strong, stubborn young bull when he has such powerful relatives behind him is futile. The young lioness on the back of the resisting buffalo sees it too and steps back. Only the brave lion still hopes to strangle the enemy. He hangs onto its neck until the very end. The male deserves credit here. This takes real courage. However, he's mistaken. The bull withstands the pressure, and its kindred comes to its aid. The bravery of these hoofed creatures deserves your like, doesn't it? In Asia, there are many subspecies of buffaloes. One of the largest, strongest, and fiercest, not only on this continent but worldwide, is called the gaur. The weight of this behemoth can fluctuate around 1.5 tons, and exceptionally large males can even reach 2 tons. Moreover, they possess agility, mobility, and determination. Here, the gaur easily jumps over a fence taller than its shoulder height. You surely wouldn't expect that from such a massive beast now, would you? But most importantly, it's not just brute physical strength, it's the strength of character. The Asian rhinoceros is about twice as heavy and stronger than the buffalo, but observe how the gaur chases the arrogant opponent. The rhino thought it could easily push the buffalo away from the pasture, take over those grounds, and enjoy all the lush greens. The rhino was mistaken. The gaur not only skillfully dodged dangerous attacks, but also ignored feints, showing the opponent that it saw through his tactics and wasn't afraid. The buffalo acts calmly and precisely, and each of its movements carries a real threat. The bull clearly understands that the rhino, encased in natural armor, could be a problem simply due to its overwhelming weight advantage. Therefore, instead of trying to knock the rhino to the ground, the gaur intimidates it, gets close, teases, displays its horns, and behaves remarkably boldly. Notice that the difference between them lies essentially in the quality of the buff. Both animals don't want to fight, but only one of them is ready for this potential outcome. So the gaur is bluffing only halfway. It is prepared to clash with such a dangerous enemy if it comes to that, but smartly avoids it as long as there's a chance. On the other hand, the rhino's bluff is different. It clearly isn't ready for a fight, so it retreats as soon as it realizes that intimidating such a powerful and tough bull won't work. A tiger has set up its lair amid the thickets. This predator is the largest wildcat on the planet. One-on-one, it can handle an adult gaur and poses a threat to almost all herbivorous mammals in Asia. However, gaurs don't always roam alone. Here, they have gathered in a numerous herd. The tiger is confident in its camouflage. Stripes excellently conceal the cat's presence, and besides, many herbivores have far fewer colors receptors in their eyes than we do. Therefore, the orange panther's skin and the green foliage around it blend into a solid canvas in the gaur's eyes. The tiger, however, overestimated its shelter. If it had set up an ambush, it could have remained unnoticed. But the panther was too relaxed, and the gaurs spotted the tiger. Instead of retreating, they went to investigate. This did not bode well for the predator. In the limited space of the thickets, its maneuverability significantly drops, and the thin trees are no obstacle for the powerful ramming attacks of buffaloes. In the end, the gaurs simply drove off the tiger, which fled, tail between its legs. The gaur is bold enough to stand its ground even under the pressure of elephants. Fortunately, it didn't escalate to a fight, but when a herd of these huge herbivores arrived at the gaur's grazing grounds, driving the buffalo away immediately didn't work. Just look at how these two enormous animals assess each other. The Indian elephant is a little smaller than the African one, but it is still almost 3 times more massive than the bull. Additionally, it's a herd when every animal is a fighter, while the gaur is alone. It's pretty terrifying, isn't it? Any other herbivore, even a predator, would surely flee as quickly as possible if they were in this buffalo's place. The sudden appearance of several gigantic creatures armed with flexible trunks and tusks would push many to the brink of panic. Even a pride of lions would probably scatter, but not the gaur. It understands that it couldn't handle even one elephant, let alone an entire herd with young ones. For their protection, adults would fight even more desperately. Yet the gaur doesn't panic and pretends that it's not being chased away, but rather inviting the elephants as a hospitable host, politely yielding them this grazing land. Quite amusing, isn't it? It seems the giants appreciated the hoofed one's composure. The lion thought it could attack a calf right in front of the buffalo herd, and the hoofed animals wouldn't intervene due to fear of the predator's immense strength. The predator lunged at the bewildered young hoofed creature and managed to bring it down. Fortunately for the calf, even such a massive predator typically doesn't break the neck, but instead tries to strangle its prey. So the buffalo still had some time to react to the attack. Only a minute or even less, and the lion was convinced that the buffaloes wouldn't save their fellow. Well, this time the lion was wrong. The buffaloes recovered quickly from the initial shock of its attack. It seems the predator's audacity surprised them more than its strength frightened them. The buffaloes, marching in formation, went on the offensive against the enemy. The lion is astonished, but doesn't release its prey, hoping until the last moment that they're just intimidating him. Another mistake! One of the bulls accelerates and, with the cover of its fellows, closes in on the predator for a ramming attack. The bull delivers a precise and devastating blow to the lion, tossing him away from the calf. Amazingly enough, the strike was accurate enough that the little one suffered minimal harm. Dazed, the lion releases its prey and leaps away. The bull chases its enemy, showing no hint of fear towards the panther. Even a wounded buffalo can put up a worthy fight against its opponent. 2 lionesses attacked this bull, employing an ambush tactic and rushing at the hoofed creature so quickly that their victim missed the initial strike. Cautious of the powerful horns, the lionesses attacked from behind and managed to injure the bull in the hind legs. But the fierce buffalo fought back. It shook off one lioness and then, overcoming the pain, whirled around, scattering and fending off its foes. Despite the numerical advantage of the lionesses, the bull showed them that 2 against 1 is, indeed, an unfair situation, but still in its favor. Had there been 4 lionesses, then the forces could be considered equal. The cats didn't expect such resistance. They seem a bit perplexed. Therefore, they use a somewhat underhanded tactic, repeatedly attacking the wounded area. They don't attempt to bring down the bull or reach its throat, simply aiming at the wound to deprive the opponent of strength and mobility. What do you think of this behavior? Do you consider it ignoble? Or do you think that such criteria for evaluation are inapplicable to wild animals? Interestingly enough, the bull behaves very dignified even by human standards. It shows no fear and continues to actively resist, not succumbing to despair, although its native herd is too far away to come to its aid. Certainly, the wound gradually takes away its strength, but the endurance of felines is not limitless, and just 2 lionesses cannot switch out for each other to take a breather. To fight such a formidable enemy, they have to act simultaneously. Unfortunately, the finale of this battle wasn't captured, but we hope the bull still manages to withstand. This is one of the most beautiful scenes of confrontation between a bull and a predator. The clash occurred in the mountainous regions of Asia, where 2 entirely unique species inhabit: the yak and the snow leopard. It seems challenging to find animals more distinct than these 2, yet they share a lot in common. The yak is enormous and robust, its thick fur providing excellent protection against cold and wind. The snow leopard is well insulated too, and despite being the smallest big cat, its strength is simply incredible. Scientists still debate whether to classify the snow leopard among big or small cats. Typically, skull structure determines this classification, but the snow leopard's head combines features of both types. Recently discovered, its closer relative is not even the leopard, but the tiger, which is the largest big cat in the world. So, it would be more appropriate to consider the snow leopard a large cat. Although its body is compact, the predator's crushing power is entirely in line with the abilities of its distant relatives. The snow leopard can take down a bull, fend off a pack of wolves, and to leap distances several times the length of its own body. However, one shouldn't underestimate the yak. Like other mountain fauna representatives, this hoofed animal has a genuinely tough character. The yak is ready to engage an enemy at the first opportunity. When faced with a threat, it responds not with an attempt to flee and a quick retreat, but with a furious counterattack aimed to subdue the opponent and literally trample it onto sharp rocks. It seems the snow leopard got lucky. Ensuring there's no one around, the yak lies down to rest right on the mountainside. The beautiful predator starts the lengthy process of stalking. It creeps low to the ground, moving on half-bent legs while maintaining incredible agility and dexterity. The snow leopard moves utterly silently, even among pebbles and sand. It carefully places each paw, with the hind ones stepping into the tracks left by the front ones. Meanwhile, the snow leopard chooses a route to pass literally over the yak's head. At this point, the panther could have lunged at the hoofed animal, if the yak showed any sign of detecting the enemy. Yet the yak remains completely calm. Could it genuinely not see the snow leopard, or did it manage to fall asleep before the predator's approach? And if the snow leopard had leaped from above, it could have delivered a devastating blow. However, it would have been quite risky, considering the yak would have a few moments for a counterattack with its horns. So when the predator realized it hadn't been figured out or noticed, it continued its descent. The snow leopard aimed to approach at the minimum distance to immediately latch onto the throat of the hoofed animal from the first moment, almost guaranteeing victory. However, the yak was only pretending to be asleep. This cunning bull allowed the snow leopard to come as close as possible, and just a couple of seconds before the decisive leap of the predatory cat, the yak got up. The snow leopard displayed an excellent reaction, but even it was a bit thrown off of balance. The cat attempted to attack, but the yak gave an impressive resistance and went on the offensive. The snow leopard recoiled, which saved it from being trampled by the roughly 3 times more massive creature. After this, the snow leopard retreated. Surprisingly, although there wasn't much food around, the snow leopard genuinely gave up trying to attack the yak. The bull calmly stood next to the dangerous enemy, but made no attempts to attack or retreat. In both cases, it could have provoked a fight. Although the bull is confident in its strength, it is smart enough to avoid battling with the snow leopard. Now the panther is not as sure of itself, and this state needs to be maintained. If the yak starts retreating, the snow leopard will pounce on its back. If it goes on the offensive, a fight is inevitable. Therefore, the bull simply observes the opponent, impressing the panther even more. The snow leopard is shocked by the bull's self-confidence. The predator seems unaware that it's facing an adolescent here. Pretty surprising twist, isn't it? Yet this endurance, quick reaction, and strength are demonstrated by a relatively young individual that is about 1.5 times smaller than an adult yak. The dog thought it could scare the gaur, one of the largest bulls on the planet, with its barking. The dog was lucky that the hoofed animal perceived its attacks as a game. The buffalo easily withstood the dog's pressure, and it had to retreat. The dog thought it was a humiliating defeat, but in reality, it won its life. If the gaur had perceived the dog's barking as a serious threat, it would have turned the opponent into a rebound literally within a few seconds. Trying to solve its problems at someone else's expense is a dubious practice, but the deer had no other choice. Coyotes were chasing the hoofed animal for more than a mile and could attack, overpower, and bite its throat within a few minutes. The herbivore couldn't break free. However, the deer found a solution. It spotted a massive herd of bisons comprising several dozen individuals. Instead of circumventing it, the brave deer literally plunged into the group of enormous beasts. Each bison was over 4 times more massive than it, but surprisingly, the giants took the stranger, who led a chase on its tail, quite leniently. The coyotes were shocked. They were chasing the deer, but dared not continue the pursuit among the huge and unfriendly predatory bulls. The coyotes decided to wait until the deer was expelled, or it would emerge into open space. The carnivorous pursuers hid between 2 groups of the herd, but were unaware of what they were dealing with. The bisons noticed the predators hindering the reunion of the massive family. Of course, the bulls didn't like it, and they set out to deal with the situation. Can you imagine the reaction of the coyotes chasing the deer when a group of enormous and powerful bisons comes charging at them head-on? Of course, the predators fled. Now the deer owes these bisons. What particular incident from today where bison strongly resisted their enemies impressed you the most? Let us know your answer in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to see more of our content.